Attention all Pisces. Attention all Pisces. Pisces, check in right now in the comments. I better see every single Pisces represent in the comments. But yes, I am proud to say that I made it into 45. Although I do have a couple of days to go, but you get it. This is an accomplishment because many people were not able to see the age of 45. It has been a struggle. Definitely has not been easy. Many tears along the way. A lot of why me? A lot of I'm over life. But in the end, I am still here. I am still fighting. And I will continue to be a fighter. That said, my motto for 2025 being 45 or turning 45, I am officially matching energy. That is it. I feel as if I'm changed for 2025 because again, I am matching energy. If you come for me, I come for you. If you're going to be disrespectful, I'm going to be disrespectful right back. If you don't call, I don't call. If you don't text, I don't text, right? I'm not putting myself out there for people that do not deserve my time or attention at all. Many people like playing games. Well, damn it, I'm hopping on that bandwagon and I'm playing games too because I'm tired of getting shitted on, and I repeat, I will not be shitted on 2025. I promise you that. I am not here for the bullshit. So I am definitely matching energy at the age of 45 for 2025. Period. The end. I refuse to be unhappy. I'm not doing it no more. So, with that being said, this week I'm dedicating it to my birthday, and so I'm calling it 80's week. I was born in the 80's. I was actually born in 1980, and there's a lot of things that were different then and now. I have my notes for TV shows, my favorite TV shows that came out that I watched, 80's movies that I watched, and then I have a video of things that I miss from the 80's, or things that kids will never ever experience in 2025. This was fun. Going down memory lane was just... But in today's video, I will be basically talking for Momma Majestic. I called her yesterday and asked her a couple questions, and just by talking to her, I decided to do a video because, let's be realistic, I don't remember everything in the 80's. I don't remember everything that I liked, didn't like, how I was. So this just kind of gave me a better insight. Really fun. So I really do hope you guys enjoy this week. A lot of people want me to do, story times and this and that, but this is also a good way to do that about my childhood and deal with people's requests that they want. So, on that note, before I begin, please remember to hit that like button. but they did not use ultrasounds for gender reveals as they do now, if that makes sense. You know, in today's time, they have gender party reveals and all types of created ways to find out if you're having a boy or a girl. But back in the 80's, they did not have that. So, I am the youngest. There's two of us, and my sister was born first. That being said, with my sister, she had a regular heartbeat, and my mother carried her very high. She was a girl. So when my mother was pregnant with me, I had a really strong heartbeat, stronger than my sister's, and my mother actually carried really low. Her stomach was low, so everybody was like, "Oh, you're having a boy." The nurses said it, her doctor said it. My mother was a nurse practitioner. Even people at her job said that she was having a boy. So you know what? Boy it was. She went out and got everything boyish. The room that I was in, she painted it blue, again under the impression that I was going to be a boy. Now, my mother had a co-worker, and they were pregnant together, and her co-worker, they were telling her that she was going to have a girl because the way she was carrying. So her co-worker had everything girlish. I was born not a boy, I'm a girl. And then her co-worker, who was supposed to have that girl, actually had the boy. And so we were 2 days apart, and the co-worker and my mother actually just swapped everything they had. Toys, clothes, everything. Because remember, she was supposed to have the girl. And anyway, they swapped, and it actually worked out for, the both of them. But could you imagine being gung-ho about having a boy? Clothes, decorated the room, painted the room, everything, and I was a girl. When I was born, though, at birth, I was born with jaundice, which, the yellow eyes, meaning a little bit older, like 3 or 4, my mother told me that I would be around the house dancing to anything. I was a dancing machine. I would sit in front of the TV, because back then we had MTV, and I would mimic like Madonna, Michael Jackson, any type of dance movies that were out. I was always trying to mimic. It got so bad that movie, Dirty Dancing, at the end when Patrick Swayze is like lifting, the girl in the air. Well, my parents had this big, what do you want to call it? It was like a treasure chest type of thing, but it was really, really, really big. And I would sit there and I would run and I would hop on it and act like, the guy was lifting me. Yeah, I was a mess. I was the child that was flipping off shit. That is my next one. I was always flipping. Back when I was younger, I learned how to do my own backflips. I was backflipping off chairs, couches, steps. It didn't matter. I was flipping. And then I would love to do cartwheels, round-offs. I was just a backflipping. I was just doing all types of acrobat. I was active. Let me just say that. I was very, very active. My sister and I were definitely the opposite. My sister was more prissy, girly girl, couldn't get dirty, couldn't step in mud, princess-like, always had to wear a dress, stuff like that. Me, I didn't care. Pants, dress, shorts, it didn't matter. I didn't care. I didn't care about getting dirty. I was also into nature. I would chase like, what do you call those? Fireflies. We would try to catch frogs. I was in mud, rain. It just didn't matter to me. I wasn't as, oh my god, it's raining, I can't go outside. If it was raining, it was better to go outside. But yeah, my mother thought that she really at one point thought of putting me in gymnastics, because I actually had this, I guess you can call it like a play balance beam or whatever, how you walk the beam. I was actually pretty good at that. I would do cartwheels on that shit, off it. They thought that I would be a gymnast, but no. And fast forward, it wasn't a shock that I was into cheerleading as well. Now, there is this one story that we can't remember. I remember it a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure how old I was. But I was having a birthday party, and like I said, my birthday is March 7th. So in New York, in March, we're still in that territory of severe snowstorms. And so I want to say I was like 5 or 6. I'm not 100% sure, but my mother and I should say my parents hired a magician or something like that, and I had all these kids that were supposed to come to this birthday party, and nobody came. Absolutely not one of my friends came, and that was because there was a blizzard or a really bad snowstorm. And so of course, kids wanted to come no matter what, but parents weren't going to be slipping and sliding in snow for some damn birthday party for a magician, right? And so my mother said I was just so hurt, and I just cried and cried and cried. And this is when my sister put on her coat, and we lived on a really popular street with a lot of kids that we went to school with. They're doing some work upstairs and it's loud, so I keep having to pause the video. But my sister put on her coat. We lived on a popular street that we all went to school with kids with, and anybody within walking distance, my sister went to all of her friends within she remembered. Number one, Michael Jackson. Oh yes, I had the jacket, I had the glove, I had the microphone. Thriller, are you kidding me? I learned that Thriller dance within like 30 seconds. Don't play with me. And then if I was bored and wanted to get creative, I would go into the bathroom and I would put makeup on myself. Oh yes, I got creative. Or I would use some creepy Halloween mask that I would find or something like that, and I would sit there, dress up, and then do the damn dance like I was in a video. Yeah, my imagination was crazy. But Thriller, Billie Jean, all of it, right? I was a Michael Jackson fanatic. I had the posters of this, to that, the dolls, whatever Michael Jackson had out, I had it. The very first album that I ever bought, or my parents bought for me, was New Kids on the Block. I didn't care if they were a bunch of white boys. Like, color did not matter to me. Color don't matter to me now, but color definitely did not matter to me back then. I couldn't care less. And I remember that I used to get made fun of because I was this black girl who liked, I think it was 5 of them, these 5 white boys. I didn't care. They were cute, they could dance, they could sing, and I was here for it. I had, again, New Kids on the Block, posters, t-shirts, albums, you name it. Anytime they did an interview, baby, I was watching. Damn it, I love them white boys. And then, now, I have no idea why my mother allowed this next one, but here we are. I was in love with Bobby Brown. Don't ask. And truth be told, you know, Bobby Brown's music and music videos wasn't exactly for a child. Remember, I was born in the 80s, so if Bobby Brown came out in 88, I was 8, right? But I knew all the words to It's My Prerogative. This, like, listen, it was probably way inappropriate, but which is crazy because there were certain songs of Madonna I was allowed to listen to, right? But I absolutely, under no circumstances, was I allowed to listen to Prince. When you listen to this list, when you listen to this week on the shit that my parents knew I was watching, now as I'm older, I'm like, Prince was your biggest issue? Prince. Okay, but another group, I don't know many people, unless say you know you're in the 80s, I don't know if many people remember this group, A, B, C. Another bad creation. They had that song, Aisha, Aisha, so glad to meet ya, see in the schoolyard. I don't know about that. They had, Playground. They had that song, Playground. There was another group, and I can't think of their name. Oh my god, hold on a second. I can't see that. Wait. No, what was that group called? Okay. Was it, no. I thought it was Candy Rain, but that's not the song I'm thinking about. Was it, god damn, anyway, there was another group, but I could not, what I thought it was, hold on a second, I could be, oh wait, is it, no, wait, I'm trying to pull it out, I can't, nope, was it, Anyway, but yeah, ABC, that they were little, they were actually, I think they were the same age as me. They were little kids rapping. I don't know, cute. Also, Whitney Houston. My mother played the hell out of Whitney Houston, so I learned about the voice from like yay high. So I knew all of Whitney Houston's songs word for word. By the age of 10, I knew them all. So now, one thing about the 80s that I noticed that they don't do now, which I can understand, is cereal was a big thing in the 80s. Cereal, what? First of all, most cereal boxes had, a little prize in them, and so everybody knew that you had to be the first one awake to open up that cereal box, because you had to get that hand in there and you had to like scoop up for the prize before your siblings got up, or you had to do that shit before your parents knew what you were doing, right? Because a lot of times parents would be like, get your hands out of that cereal box, right? You'll get the prize when you get down to it. Meanwhile, we weren't waiting for that shit. We wanted the prize now. But I don't think they do prizes in cereal anymore. I don't think so. But the must-have in our household was Cookie Crisp. And Cookie Crisp does not taste the same like it did back then. Tricks are for kids. That was popular in the 80s. Smurf Berry Crunch. Oh yes. Golden Grams. Yum. And let me make this clear that back in the 80s, everyone, let me say it again. Everyone had their own cereal. Gremlins, Batman, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, G.I. Joe, like everyone and their mama had a cereal out. Every cartoon had their own cereal as well. My mother told me that between the ages of like 5 to like 8, I did go to a local camp. That was in a park, so I went there every summer from like 5 to 8 or 9. We also, during the summer, now my mother was a real active parent. I can't really say the same for my father, who worked a lot and chose to be at work instead of at home. I'll leave it at that. But in the summertime, my mother was about it. My mother would sit there every weekend. She would pack up a cooler and pack up snacks and sandwiches and treats or whatever, and we would hit the beaches, the pool. We used to go to a place called Tolman Park. Rockland Lake was big, and Rockland Lake, if you went there, oh shit, guarantee you're bumping into people that you knew from school, the parents, because it was the county's pool, and they had two sections, like a north and a south. So like if one pool was overcrowded, you went to the other one, but it was just like one social big party. Rockland Lake was the shit. Then we had a place called Bear Mountain where we did ice skating. We did all of like the Easter Bunny nonsense. We also did the Easter hunt, hiding eggs. We decorated Easter eggs. Like we did all the holidays. We did the Tooth Fairy, Christmas, this. I have to say my mother was, it's funny because a lot of people looked at my family like the Huxtables, like Bill Cosby, because not to brag, but my parents were very, very well off, and so we were kind of like the Huxtables of like our block or whatever. And actually the Huxtables amongst most of the people I went to school with type of vibe. So yeah, we were able to do a lot of stuff that people weren't. So I was definitely fortunate, and my mother did give us the childhood that she could. Again, Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, all that crap, wrapping gifts, we did it all. I also found out that we did go to Disney World, but I was too young to remember. But I do remember my mother taking us to Bahamas. Again, you are not hearing my father because he was not involved in any of this. Not the beaches, not the pools, not Bear Mountain, not ice skating, not the Easter Bunny. My father didn't make no eggs. He didn't hide no eggs. He didn't do no damn tooth fairy. He didn't do all of that. That was strictly my mother and my mother only. Let me stop lying. The only thing my father did was for Christmas, right? Every year, my mother would sit there. I'm telling you, she was a mother of this century. She would sit there and bake cookies for Santa with us, right? We didn't know Santa wasn't real, but my mother sat there and we baked cookies, and there was no going to bed without baking cookies for Santa. You crazy? And so my father would, bite the cookies to make it seem as if that Santa Claus did come. Although we never had a chimney, I never understood why or how, but I guess we never questioned it. Moving on. We also took a bus trip to Niagara Falls. We did that a couple of times. We did, again, all Christmas shows. We did like the Rockettes down in Radio City Music Hall is the Rockettes, and then we did the Nutcracker. We did the Nutcracker like every damn year. There was something about the Nutcracker I absolutely hated. I don't know what it was. To this day, I don't like the Nutcracker. It bores me. It bores me. It bores me. I am all for Broadway shows and stuff like that, but this one, I never cared for the Nutcracker. That's crazy. Now this was another memory that my mother brought up when I was in elementary school, right? Every year, and it always used to happen around May, that between the hours of like 6 and 9 o'clock each year in elementary school, we would all come to the gymnasium, and then they would have like this really big, I don't know what you call it, like, it was like this really, really, really big tent that you actually had to get on all fours and climb through. And then once you climb through it, right, everyone sat in a circle, and then they turned the lights off. And when you look up, it was stars, right? Astrology. We learned about the Big Dipper and what it looked like, and this and that, and the meaning of this, and the 3 stars. Isn't that someone's belt or some shit? Listen, I didn't say I remember it all, but it was very interesting. It was very cool. We learned about the stars and this and that, and even went into like the gods and this. It was really, really cool. And the way they did it, like, I cannot express to you that big ass tent that we had to crawl through, and it was just like the galaxy we looked up. It was so fucking cool. and we learned a lot. Although I don't remember a lot, but you get it. We definitely did the Museum of Natural History a lot. Mystic, Connecticut, we did a lot. Now each year, my parents got divorced when I was 10, right? So this is all the 80s, but before they did that, my parents used to have a New Year's party each and every year for friends, families, and coworkers. And so, like I said, my parents were well off, and so we did have a big house, and the basement was where the parties were at. What? Bumping, you hear me? Like, the whole street, everyone from the street would come, and it was really cool because adults downstairs, they had a DJ room, a DJ booth. They had official, like, a huge bar downstairs. They had 2 bathrooms. Like, our downstairs basement was phenomenal, and that was where the party was at. But then upstairs were all the kids, so it was like cousins and this and that and kids from school, and we would sit there and play Nintendo, Atari, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, like dance-offs. It was just something that everyone looked forward to each and every year. Those were the good old times. Also too, in the 80s, because of my father, I got introduced to the show Judge Judy. And I watched, but I really didn't appreciate her the way I appreciate her now, you know. And then there was another show that I was obsessed with. And I don't know why. Well, I guess because it was a learning experience, but it was a show called 911, and this is where we heard reenactments of real life 911 calls, but then they would reenact like the situation, and it just taught people, you know, about strangers and opening up the doors and how to use 911 and how to talk to an operator and how to talk about fires and this and that, and just learning the importance of, you know, phone numbers and stuff like that, the importance of knowing your house address and city and everything else. But that show 911 back in the 80s was some shit. Now, one holiday that I have down here that my mother was bouted in was Halloween. That lady, that mother of mine, her and a sewing machine was, yeah, something special. I don't know how she got that talent, but my mother used to make our costumes from scratch, and she used to start like 6 months prior. And although she did not really make my costume so much because I was so young, she made all of my sister's costumes to the point that my mother was so bouted that each year my sister would enter a Halloween costume parade contest or whatever, and my sister always came in first or second. And this one costume that I remember that she got first prize was my sister was a lobster, but you have no idea how creative my mother got, and I can't even do enough. Now with me, she got creative, but she didn't have to make, you know, my costumes. Like one year, I think I was like 5, I was a grumpy old man, right? But then I was wearing like my father's clothes and this, and again, she was just really creative. One year, I remember I was a baby werewolf. The way she did it with a little bit of blood coming down from it, she was just, my mother was the shit. I'm sorry, she was the mother of the century. I'm sorry, she did it all. spoke about the Easter bunny, that nonsense Easter egg hunt. Then we also did our own Easter eggs. We used to color them, decorate them, and we used to hide them around the house. And I have no idea why my mother continued doing that, because each year, like months later, we would always have like a rotten smell in our house, and that was because we did not find all of the eggs that we hid. Yeah. Christmas, my parents always hid their gifts in the same damn spot. And so before Christmas, we knew what we got. We knew my parents forgot what wasn't wrapped, what was wrapped. And so each year, like, I think my parents knew that we saw our gifts. So each year, they would make sure that they would not bring everything out. And then we would open up our gifts. And my sister and I look at one another like, well, where was that dollhouse we saw of yours? You know, questions like that. But my parents knew. And then later on, like, when we got back from whatever family gathering of Christmas we went to, we would have more gifts to open later that night. My mother also started this tradition that she would bring up some gifts or whatever. And so in our family, it was, yeah, mom and dad bought gifts, but Santa brings some too as well. So, I forgot where I was going with the Santa conversation, but, anyway, the day before Christmas, my mother used to allow us to open up one gift. We were able to choose whatever gift we wanted. She never gave us a hint, and sometimes she would make sure that she would put, like, the stupidest gift in a big box, because most kids would choose, like, the bigger box, thinking it means, you know, better stuff. But it didn't always work out that way. Besides, like, Atari, Nintendo, a bicycle, right? There was this one game, or this one toy, that I truly appreciated, right? Because, you know, at that age, being so young, my sister was older, and, you know, kids had curfews, this and that, you know, you had to go to bed in this, go play by yourself, go play in your room type thing, you know. And a lot of times, like, my sister was older, so I never had anyone to play with in the house. So one year for Christmas, I received a gift, and it was called Mr. Game Show. I wish, let me see if I can pull this image up, because you guys have no idea what this shit meant. Let's see. Okay, that's not clear. Okay, wait, this is a clear one, I think. Yes. If you guys can look at the screen, look at it now. That's what it looked like. And when I tell you, this was the shit. This was the shit. You hear me? Listen. Mr. Game Show, okay? You didn't need a friend. You didn't need anyone to play with. They have it as a smiling robotic host named Gus that leads you into a television style quiz game, and it was made for children. He was equipped with 700 words of sarcasticness, you know, phrases, his arms, his mouth, everything was animated, right? And there were different games that you can play for prizes and points. And like I said, nobody needed a friend when you had this shit here. Oh, this is a better picture. If you guys can look at the screen again, if you're not, this see that. One person said, I had this. I remember loving the game show humor. Some people say that they have this at Walmart. But yeah, it was definitely gold for those who had it. Uno, the card game Uno was very big in our house as well, especially between my sister and I, because we would play Uno for chores, for this, for that, for the front seat. Like, Uno was the truth. Like, there was no effing around. This was a real competition for real prizes. Like, I don't want to do the dishes, I don't want to take out the garbage, and I want to sit in the front seat. Right? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of pissed off people during Uno have to, and the last thing I remember having was I had I don't know what they call them, but there was like tents, a tent that actually went over someone's bed. And so I had a Cabbage Patch one, and so it was a tent that went over the bed, and in order for you to get in, you had to unzip it and get in. And my sister and I, we used to be in my tent a lot, especially and my sister only did that at night when she had to go to bed, and when she did not want to go to bed, my parents never said anything if she wanted to be in the tent with me. So that's when we would play games. Uno was definitely one. Sorry was another. And let me tell you something. My sister and I, we took Battleship very fucking serious. And let me tell you something. The moment they came out with that electrical one, oh shit, bitch, you sunk my Battleship. Like, nope. Battleship was it. I can't even stress enough. I never played Monopoly, but my sister and her friends did. But overall, I was the girl with the chalk, driving on this, drawing on the sidewalks and this and that. The street that we lived on was phenomenal. All types of kids. So we would ride our bikes. We actually on our block too. We had like our own personal park. It was just the 80's was, you got to play outside, and that term, be in the house before the street light come on, that's not just like a phrase. That was the truth. The moment that those street lights came on, right, that meant that the sun was down